Hello guys, Crazy Chekhov here. Here's a data analysis from WSPR data. One time I made already something like this, but this time it's much this is much better. Very short explanation for this WSPR. WSPR, one guy sends a signal, lots of stations receiving the signals, uploading it to the internet, and you can also download the data every month from all stations in the world, everything. The data looks like this. Reporter, you see here everything, the reporter call sign, the grid in what is, the signal noise ratio with what the guy received the signal, then the frequency, the caller call sign, and the caller grid. And what I did is I averaged, I selected choose the best 5 reporter stations inside the grid. Here we have Echo Mike, for example. The grid is important. I selected the top 5 reporters inside this grid and chose the caller stations. The caller stations are here T1 to T5, and made always a select in a specific kilometer range from them. So I choose these caller stations what are, for example, the first range was 20 to 100 kilometer. I choose the T1 what is 20 to 100 kilometer away from R1. I choose T2 20 to 100 kilometer from R2, and so on. So I have 5 pairs of stations over the whole month who are transmitting all the time. There are stations, WSPR stations out there who are transmitting 24 hours. And so you get a lot of data. And in the end, I averaged everything from them into one chart, and this is what we see here. In the end, I will explain it maybe more in detail. So, and this is the report. It's like a weather report from June 2023. For the grid, here I have the grid. Well, let's start with the grid Echo Mike, what I already said before. So we have here, I choose the 3 bands, 20, the most popular, most popular, 20, 30, and 40 meter. Everywhere where there is no data here, it can be 2 reasons. There is no data for this, or the signal got too weak that the reporter couldn't receive anything. Here you have the chart, and the chart is in the x-axis you see that the daytime. This is 0 is midnight, and 10 o'clock, 15 o'clock, 20 o'clock, and this is I choose the UTC -7. I think this should be the local time for this grid. So lunchtime would be here, somewhere in the middle. And you will see 40 meter band is the best band to choose between 20 to 100 kilometer. The signal to noise ratio, this is the y-axis you see, I forgot to show. Goes in this case from 0 dB to -30 dB. The higher the better, of course. And 40 meter is over the whole day the best band from 20 to 100 kilometer, if you believe this WSPR data. But this is awesome because this is real data, and this is not calculated from some model. Models can be always wrong. Real data is the data I trust, or I prefer to trust. So 30 meter and 20 meter, similar. You have here some holes, data holes on the 30 meter especially. Of course, I mean some bands are more popular. I mean 30 meter, maybe not so much people using or transmitting data in WSPR. Here, for example, the 30 meter band completely missing. We are now here 100 to 300 kilometer in the grid Echo Mike. This is all the all data is for June 2023, don't forget this. Also June 2023, grid Echo Mike, kilometer range 100 to 300 kilometers, still the 40 meter band over the whole day on top, 20 meter below. I think I not need to speak a lot, you can see the result. We are now 300 to 500 kilometer, still 40 meter on top. 20 meter has a peak what reaches the 40 meter band here one time. Then we have 500 to 700 kilometer, 40 meter still on top, and then we have here some times where the 20 meter a little bit better maybe. But I would say up till 700 meter, 40 meter over the whole day nearly the best. And then you can see from 700 kilometer to 900 kilometer, there starts to be a change. 40 meter band gets a big dip when the sun comes out. And the 20 meter band is here better from, I would say, 9 o'clock till 16 o'clock, I would say. So 20 meter band preferable between 9 and 16 o'clock. If you have someone to reach for 700 to 900 kilometer. Then we're going from 900 to 1100 kilometer, and this looks like this. The dip is still big from the 40 meter band. Also the 30 meter band is here better. We're going to 1100 to 1300 kilometer, and here you see the 20 meter band takes over most of the day, 20 meter better, from 11 to 1300 kilometer. We're going from 13 to 1600 kilometer, still similar results, 20 meter better over most of the day, and last 1600 to 2000 kilometer looks like this. Nearly the whole day, even in the night, the 20 meter band is better. So now we're going to, I have another grid, chose another grid. This is Juliet November. This is more or less Central Europe. And here looks the data like this. It's also this is Central European time, so this should be the local time. If you have another time in your grid, Juliet November, then you must subtract or add maybe 1 hour. So this is UTC +2, Central European time. It looks like this, 20 to 100 kilometer. 40 meter, 20 meter has some strange peaks here. In general, the data for Central Europe, there is more data available, I think, than in the USA. So this should be more accurate, what you see here. Then from 100 to 300 kilometer, same like in the USA, 40 meter band, best band over the whole day. 20, 30 meter, I would say 15 dB below. 300 to 500 kilometer, still 40 meter on top. 500 to 700 kilometer, still 40 meter on top, same like in the USA. 700 to 900 kilometer, and here starts the change again. This was also in the USA. We have over the day, we have get the dip from 40 meter band, and 30 meter is here higher than 20 meter. Interesting. We're going to from 900 to 1100 kilometer. 40 meter in the night, still very good, but over the day is 20 and 30 meter a little bit better. 20 meter overtook now here the 30 meter. And here 11 to 1300 kilometer, it still looks very similar, not much change. 40 meter in the night, and this looks like a sine wave, crazy. And yeah, over the daytime 20 and 30 meter, very similar. We are 1300 to 1600, still very similar results, but 20 and stays more or less the same. But the 30 meter band gets also in the night much better. So I would say 1300 to 1600 kilometer in the grid Juliet November in June 2023. The 30 meter band is the best in this kilometer range over the whole day. 1600 to 2000 kilometer, you see the 20 meter took over nearly over the whole day. 20 meter the best band in for so very far, for this kilometer range. So this was it. I will now explain in detail. Who is not interested in this can shut off. It gets maybe very boring. So what you see here is the data from the Whisper, the raw data, and what I said before. I choose first I choose the grid. So I choose all reporters what are in the same grid. Then I choose the stations to the reporter what are in the kilometer range, for example 20 to 100 kilometer. And I made something like a high score list, show me the top guys. So I selected it with who has the most data over the whole day. So for example, if someone has for every hour, so 24 hours, a signal, this is preferable than someone who has only over 15 hours a signal. Also the averaged signal to noise ratio over the whole day is preferred, and also the most signals in general. Some people are sending more often in the hour than others. So I have more or less a high score list with the 5 best reporter stations and reporter and caller stations. This is more or less a pair. And also very important, one reporter station can only be one time in the list, because it can be that another caller, also the reporter station heard also another caller, what is also in the kilometer range. So it's important you have always one reporter in the top 5 list, also one time the same. Also the caller, there's always, so the pair is different. The pairs are always different and unique. This is not so easy. So one file is you see here the lines, 124 million lines in 1 month. This is, I think, 1 month what you see here. So the import alone takes a lot. Then I needed to make this selection. I mean, this goes to for sure I wasted, I think, 1 week to correct all this data. But now it's working quite good. I needed to make some database indices and stuff like this, that it goes much quicker. It's a need for this data analysis, I would say it's maybe 1 hour. 1 hour, also need the database to select it. So and what I forgot to show is, for example, also these lines here. Let's say let's look here what I chose here. This is between 100 and 300 kilometer in the Juliet November. This is here. Also this is the 40 meter band. Also this line is the average signal to noise ratio from these 5 lines. So these 5 lines are my 5 reporter color pairs, and this line what you see here is this blue line is the average from all of these 5. You see the lines itself looking quite similar. I mean, of course, there is a gap between them. Some antennas are better than others, but if you move this up all, they are quite similar. So this is how I've done this. So heavily averaged, and I think it should be not quite accurate. So this I will make this maybe for more often in the year. Also, if some people are interested in another grid, they can tell me. I can make an analysis from this grid. Thanks a lot and have a nice day.